Okay, welcome to Investor Series, where we are going to talk about
market update,
ways to grow your wealth.
and how the benefits from investment.
Hello, welcome back to our weekly market update. My name is Shahid, and as you can see, today I'm alone. Fairuzee is not here. But don't worry, because we are still very committed to give you the weekly market update. So, what is happening to the market? First and foremost, as usual, let's dive into the S&P 500. Have you take a look? Because if you take a look, I'm sure you are smiling now. Okay? Because if you look at S&P 500, it is now at 7,412. Yes, 7,412. So since our last update last week, the S&P has surpassed 7,400. So if you have been investing for a while now, and you did a proper strategy for your portfolio, not only you are profiting, but you will see a decent profit in your portfolio. So, yeah, congratulations. Okay, so the question next is, what actually moved the market? There are few factors, but let's look at the headline first. Okay, that's the headline is the one that moved the market. So the recent, I would say significant news that we can look at is the news between Iran and US. Okay, so lastly it was reported that Trump has rejected the peace deal presented by Iran, saying that it is totally unacceptable. With this, we can see that the news is not tally with the movement of the market. And by now, I believe that we have understood that the news doesn't necessarily move the market. It may give a nudge, but it doesn't dictate whether the market should go up or it should go down. Okay, so that's for the headline. I guess that's the main one that we want to highlight. So the next one is the fundamentals. As usual, what always Fairuzee like to stress on is to not always rely on the news, but also to rely on the fundamentals. I mean, we should look at the fundamentals of the investment. So, we have been sharing for the last 2 weeks, companies is reporting their earnings. And so far, it has been nice. Okay. So based on the reports, 80% of the S&P 500, 80% of the companies in S&P 500, they are doing pretty good. Okay. So most of them, they are even beating the projection. And I would say that is the foundation of the movement that we see currently. Okay. So of course, that's not the only factor. There are a few other factors but that is the main driver for the market now. Okay. And with that, definitely as an investor, they will feel very optimistic, and that encourages them to invest more and hence also push the market to move higher. Alright. Now, what else I want to talk? Okay. Other than, before I end this, okay, since I'm alone, I won't spend too much time. Okay, before I end this, update, I just want to touch on the bad news. Okay. Because if you look at the internet or social media, every now and then you will see people talking about, the market is going to crash. The US dollar is going to crash. The AI bubble is going to burst. Now, the question is that really going to happen? Okay. Should you be very concerned about that? Okay. So this is what I want to say. If you want to look into it, you can. In fact, it's also good for us just to be more careful with our movement, not to be too optimistic, not to be too excited with our strategy. But you need to be careful. Okay. Not to dwell too much into it, because that may affect your emotion. And with that, unstable emotion will result to bad decision. Okay. So, yeah, because if you dive too much into that, you can really get affected and you can be very, very scared. Okay. And most people who dwell too much in that, when they see red, they always want to take that move to sell their investment. And so far, from what we have seen, like since the war started last February, and also what happened in the last year during the Liberation Day, it has a red moment, but after that red moment, the market moves up quite significantly. Okay, so yeah, just be mindful with your research and also be strategic with your investment. Okay, so I guess that's all for today, and I hope to see you next week. Bye bye.